Oh, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever. I am, I'm in I'm in Chicago. Somebody's got to be here. I'm happy to be here. It looks nice outside, but it's cold. So I'm wearing a t-shirt in here. I've got the heater on. Um, I'm speaking. I'm here tonight. I'm speaking along with my buddy Justin Reock, who's been on this show before a couple times now. There you go. You can hear the heater just kicked in. I think you can probably hear it. I don't know. Let me see if the crisp audio microphone is plugged in. Let me see. Crisp microphone. How's that? Can you all hear that? Better? Test, test, test. Hopefully you don't hear anything now. Um, anyway, yeah. So I'm here tonight. I'm co-presenting with my buddy Justin Reock, who's been on this very show. We're going to be talking about, Kotlin and Spring Boot 3 and Gradle, right? And just sort of moving quickly, developer productivity engineering, the good stuff, the stuff that keeps people ahead of the curve without using ChatGPT. Okay, so anyway, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Hello, hi. I'm kind of this is a cloud native roundup, but I feel a bit like a bit like a fraud because all my other favorite cloud natives are in Amsterdam, where I just was. We literally just did a live stream from Amsterdam last week, I think, right? Like, I was just there. They're all there for KubeCon, and I'm not complaining. My lot in life is pretty good. I'm here in Chicago. Could be way worse. I'm just sad to miss out on all the fun, Okay, well, okay. So anyway, I've got to do This Week in Spring, the blog, the usual roundup, and I figured we'd just go through the week's events together. It'll be fine, We'll see what's new in the wide and wonderful world of spring. So for some of us today, also I had some issues. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. LastPass, it was cursed this morning. I don't know what was going on. It was locked. I couldn't it wasn't like the password was locked. The app itself was locked. I couldn't move it. It wouldn't do anything. So I couldn't even log into the StreamYard account over there to manage my chats and whatever, the comments and all that here on the live chat. It took like half an hour. I had to delete the app and reinstall it, and then of course it worked a charm. It was up to date. I didn't need to update it. It was just it had gotten itself into like a state where it just couldn't do it. I was seized up. I don't know. I've never seen that before. It's usually fairly reliable. Well, anyway, it's behind us. And then at the end of that, I needed some some dopamine. I needed to feel a little bit better. So I played one amazing AC/DC track, and I've got some coffee, so I'm feeling better. How about you? How are you all doing? Everybody okay? So wide and wonderful world out there. Okay, so friends, let's see. Let's share my screen here. By the way, can you hear that noise in the background? Is it okay? Is it too annoying? Should I turn it off? Don't all raise your hands at once. Okay, let's see. Present. Okay. All right. So it's been a busy week, and I've got, as usual, I got my usual roundup of stuff that I might put in the in ye old This Week in Spring, right? But let's just go through and see what's up there. First of all, GitHub was down this morning. I don't know if you noticed that. It was down for a lot of people all around the world. So that was not great. That was not a great way for me to start my day. But could be worse. It happens. So, okay, let's see. RF Markdown export. Good. So I've got, let's see, we got last week's episode on the podcast. Sometimes Steve Poole and Justin Reock, actually, the guy with whom I'm co-presenting today. We were on the show last week on the podcast, and there's also a live stream on this little YouTube channel, so that's fun. The timeout annotation. Let's see here. Timeout annotation. I really like this Balding website. So there are two things I find perfectly silly in the world. One is when I Google something and I find one of my own blogs, which happens, a surprising number of times because I've got a blog that goes back to like 2005 or something like that. Um, and but then also when I Google something and expect to find the Spring documentation, I can even see in my head the thing I'm looking for. But then Google hands me back a Baldung blog instead. I'm like, what? It's crazy. It's so good. This website has become a very invaluable piece of the internet, huh? Um, and I sure hope it's valuable. Look at all these crazy ads everywhere. Go away. Stop it. Stop. There. I like. Did you see that? The nerve. It just popped itself back up. Okay. Timeout. So this is if you got a failed test and you want to like, or you got a potentially flaky test and you want to like make sure it does the right thing. You can set up thread boundaries, set up durations. Okay. I mean, that's not new. I guess we can all agree it's pretty useful though. So maybe we'll keep that. This one was interesting. Um, so by the way, for what normally happens, by the way, friends, as I go through my week, every week for, I've been doing this week in spring. Hold on one second. There's something stuck. I've been doing this week in spring every week since Tuesday. So every Tuesday, since January 2011, right? So, uh, 12 years, and more than 12 years now. Every week, I haven't missed one, except for last. No, I haven't missed one. I never missed one. Yeah, I missed a podcast last November 24th, but I didn't miss the spring this week in spring for that week. But so anyway, I go through and I bookmark stuff and I save it up, and then I go through the roundup, and I've decided to start streaming. Hi, go away, stop it, go. Um, let me see. Why be more aware of your Java dependencies when it comes to managing contributions, dependencies, larger binaries, resources, managing Java dependencies, including what is going on? Like quickly, okay, 10 megabytes for the Eclipse collections library. Wait, what? It's 10 megabytes? Wow, that's a lot of code. I mean, I know Spring is pretty big as well. How big is, wait, okay, so can I do that same look? repository.com, and then I'll search for Spring Boot. I don't know, starter. No, I want auto config, something big. Okay, so here's the Spring Boot auto configure jar. And how many megabytes? 1.6 megs for like most of the auto configuration. Um, yeah, I mean, this is like one of the most widely used frameworks out there. And it, let me see, Spring Boot starter auto config. What's another jar? Test auto configure. I mean, what else is there? What other big jars are there in the Spring ecosystem? Spring Boot starter web. These are just dependencies. These are actually like pom.x. These are just pom.xmls. They don't actually have code. Okay, this does. This is not a starter. How big is this one? 228 kilobytes. So yeah, I that's pretty crazy. 10 megabytes. Is that real? Eclipse Commons Collections is 10 megabytes. I had no idea. It's a very useful library, but there must be a lot of code in there, right? Like if you think about that, there's a lot of code, which means that there's a lot of like surface area, a lot of vulnerabilities, a lot of everything. And how many people are maintaining it, Is it still maintained? So obviously Eclipse Commons is always being maintained. I mean, so far as we record this, uh, in first half 2023. Let's see here, friends. Do 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 do. I forgot to log in my iPad. Ah, yes. GitHub was down and changed the repository view. Oh, it's back up? Okay. Hello. Let me see. GitHub. Oh, you mean like all the repositories? things look a little bit brighter, like more white font. Is that just me, or is that the change? By the way, I did, for those of you who were tuned in yesterday, I worked on just a hunch, a hypothetical. What if you could use RabbitMQ as a discovery client? And I ended up finishing it, but I didn't. I don't think I like it. Um, well, first of all, this requires a management plugin, and yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't use it. This is not the right way to do it. Just use something like Eureka or something. But basically, it does kind of work. Like you can say, okay, RabbitMQ discovery client, get all the services, great. That's the discovery client contract. Um, and then for each service, get the service instances for that. And of course, you only get one because it's not actually distributed load balanced. It's just the proxy representation in the broker itself, and it'll print out the service instance details. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. 2:30 Central Time. Do I want to join you for office hours? Maybe. Wait, 2:30. I'm in Chicago. What time is that? 2:30. 2:30. What time is it now? What time is it right now in CT? Are we in CT?
In Hartford, Connecticut, it's 11:04.
Ping me offline. I might be able to, but I'm heading. I'm supposed to be meeting some folks in an hour, which is the other thing. I've got like that buffer. I need to like get offline and out of people's hair, quick. We got to get this blog out the door, people. But yeah, thanks for that. I would love to. I would love to, hang out with you either way. Okay, so anyway, don't use this. It was a worthy exercise, but yeah, don't do that. Okay, so Maven versions dependency, display dependency updates. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. That's neat. So you can actually run this plugin if you're using Maven, as a good many people are, to display all the things that can be updated. That's neat. 2:30 Chicago time. Maybe, but let me just ping me because it will. Let's play it by ear. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. Yeah, that's gonna be a little tough. Sorry, bud. I don't know. We'll try. I mean, maybe next week if nothing else, right? But we can try today. Because I'm doing a lunch and learn, and then I'm doing a thing tonight. So it's like in between that, my co-presenter Justin and I were hoping to do one last run through, but hanging out with you two might be more fun. Who knows? Okay. So cool. I didn't know you could do that. Maven versions display dependency updates. Let's just try it. I'm just curious what happens if we go here and do the thing that we're not supposed to do anymore. Choose Maven, choose reactive web, choose GraalVM, hit enter, open this up, cd. Oh, I got it right here. UAO. Sorry, just unzip. Thanks, demo. And then we try this right here. Whoa. Okay. So that is neat. That's neat. Hot sauce. Good stuff. Um, well, now I feel old. Yeah, okay, very cool. So there is definitely a way to easily see the latest and greatest. What about for Gradle? Okay, Gradle. Start that Spring.io. And let's just destroy this thing right here. Oh no, I just deleted this. Oh, it's back. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Don't worry. Don't freak out. Just don't delete, don't RMRF everything, it turns out. Okay, let's close this. Move this out of the lab. This.md code desktop me. Okay, so now go here. We want Gradle Kotlin, languages Kotlin 3.05. Reactive web, GraalVM, whatever, hit enter. Wait, no, I don't want that. I want the other one. I want the even. No, I do want Kotlin. Yeah, okay, so that's right. So subble, sorry, unzip, demo.zip. Let's see, demo. All right, Kotlin time. By the way, another huge thing that happened in the last week since we last spoke, they made Kotlin the official default language for Gradle. So like, you know, I think the internet's gonna cry and complain and kvetch and moan forever. But what I would love to see one day, and it's probably never gonna happen because nobody listens to me, but if I would love to see this becomes the default, Kotlin Gradle default. And the reason I would like that is because well, it doesn't matter, I guess. I just, we all have our opinions, but it would be to me, it just seems like there's a lot more people using Kotlin and there's a lot more people using IntelliJ, and the experience for Kotlin in IntelliJ is better than it is elsewhere. And also, Kotlin is a type safe language, so it lends itself to a DSL, type safety, and all that. So that'd be nice, but it'll probably never happen. It'd just be nice. Like I don't like the idea of having Gradle defaulted to Groovy when we could be using Kotlin. But okay, so anyway, I'm going to try and use this more often. I've been using Gradle all year, and we are already in April, nearly in May. That's three and a half months of me, sucking it up and just doing it, right, and just using it. And it reminds me of that song, which was definitely not about Gradle, but it feels like it could be, which is the fantastic synth pop British new wave anthem that is "Sweet Dreams," which is all about the despair and sadness that Annie Lennox and what's his name, Palmer something, felt in the dawning hours of their career, unable to get a gig, unable to escape their painful record contracts and all that. I have no idea why that reminds me of Gradle. Nothing at all. It's fine. But anyway, Sweet Dreams are made of this, and I like it actually. It's gotten to the point where I'm starting to find value in the really. I mean, you saw me. We did this whole thing together a few months ago, where we built a multi-module project with Gradle, and once you get it working, it is both less code and more useful. So kind of hard to argue with that. Okay, so anyway, Gradle, Kotlin, we got this. We need to add this plugin now, don't we? So close some tabs here, people. Let's recycle, reduce, use, add this plugin. Got to change the syntax here a little bit. So that's another reason why it'll probably never be the case that this is the default, which is, you've got all these all this documentation in Groovy. Okay, so we got that, and then run this, I guess. Okay, nice. Is it the same output? It kind of looks like it. Interesting. No, it's not the same output. And for some reason, the Gradle one is much more succinct. Am I missing information, or was the other one just giving me too much information? These are the questions that bedevil me. But either way, good to know about this plugin. Okay, so Snick, and of course they have they want to plug in their Dependabot ++ service, which is fair. We appreciate the lookout. You're not using struts, are you? I wouldn't use struts anymore. It was useful though. Analyze, ignore non-compile, sure. Nebula lint. Quite a solid dependency. Well, this was, I don't know. I learned a few things. I don't. That's fine. We'll keep it. Okay. So what about this one? Kubernetes. Speaking of Kubernetes. So, and by the way, I just read another blog. I don't even see if I don't even know if I have that in this one. Do I have it? Using Kotlin to nope, don't care. Don't care. This is the article that we looked at yesterday. Um, okay, Spring Shell. Okay, well, hold on. Let me find it. We looked at something. What was this? I bookmarked myself for some reason. Yeah. Hey, Tim. Welcome. Yeah, it's like Twitch, except that you know, it's I don't know. Yeah, there it is. Oh wait, what was that? I see the comments and everything. Struts is still being maintained. I know, but like it's not like it's insecure. It's just foundationally, like there's better ways to solve the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I have any issue. I'm not saying it's not actively maintained or even of high quality. It does what it does very well, but what it does is wrong at this point, right? It's sort of like Ruby on Rails. It's still actively maintained. It's the best version of itself, but that's not the problem people have today. Um, okay, let's see here. So I did bookmark myself, and I closed it for this. Oh, this was great. Like why the amazing team at Devox. I was at Devox France last week. That was cool. People were super cool, and the Devox France Twitter account talked about how they are monitoring all of us, which is that's okay. Anyway, so that's not particularly worthy. Give me that. This integrate AWS Secrets Manager and Spring Boot. Yes, please. Wait. So let's go up here. Best practices. So we like that. So speaking of Kubernetes and KubeCon, which I would love to be at, but I'm not. There's this one: Kubernetes more fine-grained pod topology spread policies reached. In Kubernetes, pod topology spread constraints went to general availability. As time passed, SIG scheduling received feedback from users. Yeah. Well, welcome to the streams. I mean, I try and stream every day. It doesn't always go to plan, but I do try and stream every day. Sometimes I'm on the road. Like for example, Friday I'll be traveling to India from California, and the destination is amazing, and so it's the reason I'm going to do the journey. But the journey is going to be um, like what's the travel equivalent of like a hemorrhoid, right? Like it's a nightmare. It's like 30 hours or something like that in 3 different flights. Oh god. And I'm going to be in economy sitting up. Oh, stress. But anyway, all that to say, I'm not going to be streaming on Friday, probably. Okay, so min domains and pod topology spread max skew. What does this mean? Oh, cool. Like it gives you like the ability to say, okay, I want to distribute the load across a number of domains and whatever. You know, that's really cool. It's getting to the point where you need less and less from without the ecosystem, because more and more as it becomes more stable, is being baked into Kubernetes proper. It's very cool. Respect pod topology spread after rolling upgrades. Max skew topology key. Okay. When unsatisfiable, do not schedule. Oh, we got labels. Okay. Well, that's cool. Lovely new pod topology constraint support in Kubernetes 1.27. Okay. Also, hello everyone at KubeCon. Okay, and then I don't care about buffer overflows. I don't care about S3. I don't care about that. Oh yes, I do care about this. Okay, Tanzu application platform, a Kubernetes distribution to create a cron job workload with, okay. So basically this blog is not for you and me. Um, oh yeah, I've got my Steam Deck. That thing is, it's right here. I love my, yeah, good, good. Oh, thank you, by the way. Welcome to India. I appreciate that. Yeah. I'll be there soon. I can't wait. This thing is pure fun. It's a pure indulgence. Um, but and yeah, I'm gonna take my Steam Deck. It's gonna be fine. 30 hours is gonna be quite a schlep though. That'll be a thing. So anyway, so Toshiaki, he's I think he's one of the coolest people, and he wrote he wrote this blog yesterday. And again, don't freak out. This is not for you and me, okay? This is not for us mortals to understand. This is a blog on how to take Times application platform, which is a Kubernetes distribution with a whole bunch of extra batteries. It's like the Python of Kubernetes distributions, and it has support for something called Cartographer, which allows you to create supply chains. Now, if you're already bored, it's fine. Don't worry. All this means is instead of like having some pre-baked conceptions about what a workload looks like, Cartographer and Tanzu application platform gives you the ability to describe any particularly arbitrary workload and to then reuse that definition. So you can actually pre-bake the shape of your organization's workloads, give it a name, and then people can just apply that custom workload just like they would any other Kubernetes object. So you can use Kubernetes objects to create Kubernetes objects. And then that way you've got like dependency injection and things like that. Okay. So what this does is this is the nitty gritty, muck of defining a workload. It's not fun. I don't, nobody likes this. This is not what you and I want to do, hopefully, for our live long days, but it's something that somebody's got to do, not us. Thank Buddha. So here's a cron job template and cluster config template. Stop that. Oh, YAML. Oh, oh, gross. Okay, so showing you how to install a few things. There's even a workaround because you have to like worry about BusyBox. So he relocates the BusyBox image for some reason. It's inglorious and it works. It's fine. But where's the example he has? Type cron job, right? So he creates this kind of thing here, using the Tanzu apps workload CLI. So here you have a nice, easy, this is what you and I will worry about. This is like the end user perspective of all the morass of stuff above the fold here. And you do that and it'll apply all of that and make it so that you get a really smart, sophisticated version of a workload. Now, why would you care about this? Because you might have batch jobs, for example, right? This is super useful. Batch and data access are becoming more and more viable on Kubernetes, right? It's usable. It's already usable for a lot of use cases. I'm not going to say every use case, but people are already building, supercomputers that are in the top 10 biggest clusters for data processing on top of Kubernetes. It's already at that point. So don't let people that wrote blogs 5 years ago suggesting that it couldn't be done scare you away. Today it's ready for prime time. Now we're at the stage where it's just like, can I refine it? Can I like templatize some common sense defaults so that I can just get something up and running and out the door quickly? Okay. And the answer is yeah, you can. Just use TAP or Cartographer is the open source bit, but Tanzu application platform, which is not open source, right? It's built on open source. That's going to do a lot of cool stuff. It'll just make this super easy. So delete the workload. Stop prompting me every time I click on this blog. Every time I interact with it, that tap thing, the last pass prompt shows up. Let me see. Okay, check the created cron jobs and jobs. The execution result of curl is here. Great. I mean, it's just really convenient, right? And here's another one: how to take a Git repository with a Python script and turn it into a cron job. Great, no problem. And by the way, I presume this is using KPack or something like that behind the scenes. Okay, cron job to run a Spring Batch job next to batch processing source code for this billing job implemented by Spring Batch. So here, if you're on this if you're on this channel, this is probably here we are, like, most of the way through the article. This is the line that we care about, which is I can easily take that workload and create a Spring Batch workload out of it. So that's cool. I dig this. This is really neat. Where's my little blog? Okay, so uh, okay. Spring fix Spring Data JPA exception. No property found for type. Well, I don't. This isn't like hard to fix, is it? Don't you just need to have a property? Oh, okay. This is just like somebody used ChatGPT to write an article about nothing. Don't care about this. Get all cache keys with caffeine cache and Spring Boot cache. Is this a thing we care about? Oh, oh, this is like I don't see. This is if you. So the answer is just cast your cache manager implementation to a caffeine cache manager. That's what it like. The question should have been, hey, how do I get the cache keys? Cast the cache manager implementation, and you can get the keys that way. But no, it's like this whole 500-word essay on all that. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's just put that at the very bottom. It's still interesting. I just don't care about it. What is this one? This blog seems interesting. Marty Pitt did a video. Yeah, it does kind of sound like a bad idea too, because especially if you have enough data, it could be a pain. Um, so let's see. Uh, Marty Pitt is we had him on. Oh, okay, cool. Looks like it's like APIs and stuff. Kotlin and RSocket. Nice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is good. We had him on Marty Pitt, Bootyful Pod. No, I was gonna say pasta because I'm hungry, but no, podcast. So he was the co-founder of Swagger Spring MVC. We had him on the show way back then, April 2021. So that's 2 years and some change, almost 2 years exactly. Actually, no, it is 2 years. April 1. No, it's not. It was April Fools 2021, which is fantastic. So, yeah, so he's no longer working on the Swagger stuff. That's the old thing. He's working on this new stuff, and he talked about that in the podcast, and here you can see what he's got to say. That sounds cool. Okay, and he's speaking at the Brighton Kotlin user group. Okay, use a mapper with MapStruct and Java. I'm of two minds about MapStruct. Instance article mapper. Ow. Like when you start using CQRS, this kind of thing becomes very convenient, like mapping from commands to queries or whatever, because sometimes there is a one-to-one correlation. Not always, and indeed the benefit is that doesn't have to be, but a lot of times there is. So this might be useful. But like if you're doing a web tier and you've got like a DTO, maybe look at GraphQL instead. Okay, fine. Not related to Spring per se, but okay. Spring Shell. Oh, Spring Shell is such a beautiful project. So, Spring Shell. I think we covered this in a Spring Tips video, right? We did a video looking at Spring Shell, which is a way to build tab completing, CLIs basically. Okay. So Spring Shell 2.1.8, 3.02, 3.1 has been released from Maven Central. Blah blah blah. Okay, what are the release notes? I just want the newest one of the. Here we go. 3.1. Build on Spring Boot 3.1, which is going to be amazing. Shell context. So bugs. There was a issue where the shell context wasn't being passed to the command catalog. Positional parameters with the new parser were broken. They backported the converter. Okay. Upgrade to Spring Boot 3.10 M2. Rename set mask character to set mask. Oh, character to character. Command availability annotation, PRs, path shell content. Okay, so it pretty straightforward. I would just be using this stuff. It's awesome. Let's see. Spring data and service releases. Let's see here, friends. I'm pleased to announce the availability of the first release of Spring Data, blah, blah, blah. MariaDB support for Spring Data R2DBC has been reinstated. Cool. What happened? Spring Data MongoDB introduces a hint annotation, as well as support for reactive bulk header. You know how good Spring Data MongoDB is? I love Spring Data MongoDB. Have you ever I mean, I love all the projects, obviously, but I mean, look at this. Look at all these different projects, right? These modules are huge, and there's many of them. And Spring Data MongoDB and Redis and JPA and whatever. Most of these have been around for more than a decade. You think about that. Like, these are the best ways to consume these various technologies. What is the Kokomo score? Open Hub, right? Like this one. So, Spring Data MongoDB. Couchbase is amazing. Heck yeah. Spring Data Couchbase is great, and it's gotten better, and they were the first ones to have a reactive implementation. Okay, so here's Spring Data MongoDB with a very old logo. Yeah, it took an estimated 35 years of effort to get to Spring Data MongoDB. Like, anything that tries to add value on top of that is just like a rounding error, right? It's just 35 years. So you can write your own ORM. Good luck. But remember, you're just not going to it is the height of arrogance to start a new ORM for MongoDB or something like that when we have something from the Spring Data projects with these kinds of numbers, right? 35 years is what you would have to reproduce to regain the value implied in this, right? Yeah, very large development team with stable year-over-year commits, well-established mature code base. First commit was July 2010. So, getting close to 13 years of Spring Data MongoDB. This was one of the very first. It wasn't the first. The very first was a Spring Data Neo4j, right? That's a little secret. I don't know people know that. ML Ephraim, and Rod Johnson wrote the very first Spring Data module together. Just a little hack, a little bit of hacking together. So yeah, Spring Data MongoDB. I mean, that alone is just it's just pure. Imagine hiring somebody. Imagine hiring 35 people for 1 year just to be able to reclaim the value that Spring Data MongoDB gives you for free. And all these other projects are the same, right? They're all similarly just amazingly valuable. Let's look at JPA. I always like that. Like, Spring Data JPA. Another project that's just been around forever. Okay. 8 years of effort. Well, okay. What about Spring Data Neo4j? I'm always curious about this stuff. 15 years. Again, just don't write your own. Just file a bug. If there's truly something that hasn't been addressed yet, file an issue. I promise. It's better to use this stuff than to try it yourself. Okay, so upgrade to the latest and greatest in Spring Data because it's good for you. Period. Spring Authorization Server 1.02, which is another one of those hidden gems that represents just endless amounts of awesomeness. 1.02 and 0.42. So 1.02, fix refresh tokens, error code, invalid client, invalid grant, dependency upgrades. They upgraded the Java format plugin. Good, very important. Actually, I think we've talked about this. I've certainly talked about it on the show. I love the Spring Java format plugin in all of its incarnations. You want to restore civility and peace on your team. There's probably things you can do that are more effective, but it couldn't hurt. Couldn't hurt to use this plugin because it removes it normalizes your code so that it all looks the same, whether you're using Visual Studio Code or Eclipse or IntelliJ IDEA or Emacs or whatever. Who cares, right? It's like Go format of Python. Oh, it's so good. The only problem I've ever had with it was I wrote the Spring. I wrote my book, my Reactive Spring book, using the Spring Java format plugin, and it was perfect because it used to chop the margins. It was like automatically forcing wrapping on the margins, such that it would fit on a printed page, right? When printed inline in the code in the book. And then they updated the plugin. And one of the features, and it really is a feature, as annoying as it is that there's just no way to configure it, right? It doesn't do anything. There's no options. There's like behind the scenes, the Spring Java format plugin is embedding the Eclipse IDE code formatter, right? It's a Maven plugin and a Gradle plugin for the Eclipse IDE. But unlike the Eclipse IDE, which is infinitely customizable, there's none of that here. Which is why this is amazing. It's just sort of, it is what it is. You accept it and move on, right? There's no arguing. There's no like, well, my style is better than yours. No, shut up. Go back to work. Just, use this. Just stop quibbling about tabs and spaces and nonsense, reveling in nonsense. I hate it. So this plugin just eliminates a whole host of like nonsense. Goodbye nonsense, So good. Moving on. Great plugin. You should be using it, and also using the Spring Authorization Server. I'm all about this upgrade. The Spring Authorization Server. It's one of those things where it's just. I'm not actually saying shut up, go back to work. I'm just saying stop focusing on this. Let's not. What is that? Let's not sand pit in this. Like it's just so. Goose fraba. Like tabs versus spaces just makes me. It's not the actual it's not the sentiment, it's not the sides, it's not the argument, it's the fact that we have the argument at all, right? It's just like the Go community has it right. They have this tool called Go FMT, Go format, right? And just who cares what syntax you use, right? In theory you can use anything, but most people run Go format and it just normalizes the code and it's like so much better. Same thing for Python, right? There's no like you write it a certain way, or it doesn't run straight up, period. And I love that about Python. It just, there's no room for like, I want my braces on the new line or whatever. Let's see, reuse string builder for efficiency. Okay, I don't care. I mean, I think we all know not to do that. Resilience for J events endpoint. Oh, good. Is this the actuator? Events. Yeah, there's an actuator pin. Yeah, okay, circuit breakers. Okay. Neat. Learn about the Spring Boot actuator endpoint for resilience for J. Neat. I love it. Possible root causes for high CPU usage in Java. I mean, it's just Slack, right? Just don't use Slack and Java will be just fine. Okay. Parsing date strings of varying formats. I don't care. Loading multiple. Oh. Now the default for new Gradle build. This is so cool. We talked about this a minute ago. Kotlin is now the default for Gradle, right? It's official. This came out last week at Kotlin Conf in Amsterdam, and I want to say that there was like a hushed whispers of like joy and jubilation in the crowd as it happened, but I think it was kind of a non-issue because you can still use Groovy. Who cares, right? But I love this because frankly I'm new to Gradle, and Kotlin just makes it easier for me to control space my way to success. Like it's just simple as that. There's a better experience for developers writing code in anything but Emacs or your regular text editor. If you're using any IDE that supports Kotlin, this will be better. Now some people will say, oh well, okay, that's true that IntelliJ has a really great experience for Kotlin, but conversely, Eclipse and Visual Studio Code have a really, really crap experience. That is to say, it's okay across the board for Groovy, but either really great or really crap for Kotlin. And to which I say, yeah, but I'm using IntelliJ, so let's see. Good. Here's this. This is cool. Integrate AWS Secrets Manager and Spring Boot. Didn't we see one of these last week on Azure, Microsoft Azure, something like that? Oh, this might actually be the one from last week. Look, it says April 13th. Okay. Okay, so don't do this. Oh. Doing field injection. Every time you do field injection, a unit test dies. This makes me sad. Use the constructor. I wish there was like a button on here to like submit a pull request or something, you know? Or like annotate. Or like bird watching. You know, on Twitter they have the ability to add notes to things that are not great or false or misleading, whatever. I'd like to qualify that in saying you could, but well, or it could be the well actually button. There you go. Let's see. Credentials. Hard-coded usernames and passwords in a file system. What could go wrong? Spring Boot application integration. Okay, it's cool. Spring support for AWS via Spring Cloud AWS is dope. Explicit wait versus explicit wait. No, I don't care. Moving on. Oh, okay. Hot stuffs. Good stuff. So we did it. We got through the roundup. Looks like despite myself. Where should things go? I don't always have time to think about this, but realistically, if we're honest, right, the spring stuff should go at the top, right? Like, so let's see here. Whoops, go away. I don't want a dictionary. So at rep spring IO. Okay, so we paste that here and then upgrade. Okay, don't need that. Spring authorization server, don't need that one. Spring shell, that one. Beautiful podcast, that one. Neat. Okay. So now I guess I just do the intro and we call it good. All right, friends. Well, this is fun. I think we got something out of this. What we got is that I took a lot longer than I thought it was. Maybe I'll do another stream later. I don't know. Or maybe I'll join Deshaun and Dan on Ye Old Office Hours. That could be fun. I don't know. But I'm not sure just because I've got a meeting. Got to go meet some people as opposed to just the voices in my head. So yeah, good stuff. I'll publish this. This will be on the Spring blog. You can say you saw it here first. You are officially excused from reading the blog that goes out on spring.io from me called This Week in Spring today, the 18th of April 2023. You're excused because you were here. You saw it in action. But if you're looking for something to read, and you didn't already read it, and you missed something maybe, as happens. I mean, it's not like it's unknown or impossible to conceive. This month in spring. Okay, here we go. You missed anything from last month? Oh, no, Dan? Oh, Deshaun. Flying rudderless. Those are big shoes. Now I feel very anxious. Okay, so there's this month in spring. That got published yesterday, April 2023. Right there, right there. So this is the monthly roundup. This is a recap. So if you haven't been paying attention to all the This Week's in Spring from the last month, then join me on this sort of annotated recap of the recap that I put out every month. And this gets sent out as a newsletter as well. So there's a lot of stuff here, but it's like the last month worth of stuff, most of which was taken from these very pages after all. So yeah, you can read that. It's called This Month in Spring. It's on the VMware Tanzu blog. And I've been doing these for like 4 years now, every month, right? There's a ton of these. So if you want to like go through the digest, then this is available to you as well. Okay, my friends, this was fun. Hope you had some fun. Hope you got something out of it. I gotta go. I gotta get this out the door, and I gotta go. So we'll talk later. See you on the flip side, my friends.